Okay guys, for tonight's video you need to have your calculator as well as these notes. We've been working on one variable statistics, and we are going to learn how to make a histogram on the calculator. Some of you may know how to do this already. We're going to walk you through the directions. So we're going to use the following heights of students of a group of 7th graders. And a histogram is only one variable data, so we are just looking at one variable, and in this case we are looking at their height. So we are going to turn our calculator on. If you need to clear it, hit Stat, and in list 1 we are going to enter the heights of the students. So Stat, enter, and then we're going to enter the heights of the students. So at this point you might want to pause the video and enter your data for the height in list 1, and I've done that already. So the next thing we want to do is to set up the histogram. So we want to make sure our graph is on. So we'll go to second and y equals, and right now my plot is off. So I want to hit enter, and I want a histogram, and it looks like a bar graph, but the lines are, or the bars are stuck together. So I'm going to go down to type. The cursor needs to be on the histogram, and hit enter. So I want to take a look at our graph, and to do that we are going to hit zoom 9, and nothing showed up because I don't think I turned my histogram on. Nope, I didn't turn my histogram on. There we go. And we're going to hit zoom 9, and there's our histogram for the heights of students. So I want to know what my intervals are set up at, but before I do that I'm going to go to window, and if I take a look at my lowest value is 59, so I want my x max to start at 15, or x min to start at 59, and my highest value is 81. So just so that I have nice pretty histogram, I'm going to change this just to 80. I'll do it one above it. I'm going to change it to 82, and I want my x scale to count by 5s. That's going to give me intervals of 5s. So now if I hit graph, my histogram might look a little bit different. So I want to take a look at my graph, and to do that, if I hit trace, it tells me that between 59 and 63, because it says less than 64, between 59 and 63 there were 2 numbers. If I arrow over from 64 to less than 69 or 68, I had 2 in that data set. My frequency was 2. From 69 to less than 74, my frequency was also 2. From 74 to less than 79, my frequency was 3. And from 79 to 84, my frequency was 1. If I had just hit zoom 9 and looked at my window, the calculator sets up those intervals for me already. But again, I want to change this to 82 or 83, just one more above my highest value, and then change this to set it at intervals of 5 and hit graph. And we can play around with those intervals. If I wanted intervals of 10, which wouldn't make any sense for this data, and hit graph again, my histogram would look a little different. So I'm going to go back to window. I'm going to change those to intervals of 5 because that's what the calculator suggested. If I hit graph, there's my intervals of 5. So going back to the trace function, the minimum number in this bar on the histogram is 59, and the maximum number is less than 64. So that's everything up to 64, but not including 64. So if I go to my next interval, this interval includes 64, and everything up to 64, or 69, but not including 69. So my next interval will start at 69, my next interval will start at 74, and my next interval will start at 79. And this tells me the number of data points in that interval. Okay, we're going to take a look at another set of data. In this data, we're going to make a frequency table to answer questions 1 and 2 down here on the video questions, and make sure to create a histogram using the data on our calculator. So this data is set up in a frequency table. And what this means is waist to floor measurements could be for a dress, could be for just, I don't know, maybe take a measurement of a person. Of 27 inches, there was 2 numbers, or the frequency per 27 inches was 2. So when I put these points into my calculator, I'm going to have 2 27s, no 28s, 5 29s, 8 30s, 7 31s, and 4 32s, for a total of 26 data points. So this basically, we just made a frequency table for the set of data that we had. So if you'd like to pause the video right now and put these data points into your calculator, but just before we do that, I'm going to turn my calculator back on. If I go to Stat and Edit, I want to clear that list out of there, so clear and enter. So this means I'm going to enter 27 twice. I'm not going to enter 28 because there was no data points that were 28. 29 I'm going to enter 5 times. 30 I'm going to enter 8 times, 31 I'm going to enter 7 times, and 32 I'm going to enter 4 times. So I would suggest you pause the video at this point and enter these data points into your calculator. Okay, I've entered all of this data in my calculator, and I'm on the last data point right here, which should be, I don't know why it says 60, they should both be 30, because I kind of messed up my data. I only put 30 in there 5 times. So being on my last data point, that tells me I have 26 data points in there, which I have 26 here. So if we hit zoom 9, there's our histogram. So which interval has the largest frequency and how did you know? So if you go to Window, right now our minimum is 27 and our maximum is 32. I'm going to change that maximum to 33. I'm going to change my X scale. Right now it has it at 0.8. I'm going to change my X scale to 1 because if we look at our intervals, we really don't need anything smaller than 1 or bigger than 1. So I'm going to change that to 1 and hit enter, and then graph, and there's my data points. And again, which interval has the largest frequency and how do you know? And what is the interval size for each bar in the histogram? And we just did that. But just to make sure I have all my data points, I'm going to hit trace. So from 27 to less than 28, there's 2. 28 to less than 29, there are none. From 29 to 30, less than 30, there's 5. For 30, there should be 8. For 31, there's 7. And for 32, there are 4. So again, no Google form, just answer the multiple, well, there's no multiple choice on this, just which interval has the largest frequency and how did you know? You can tell from the frequency table and you can tell from the histogram. And just record these on your answer sheet.